Hi and welcome to Sensefarm. In front of us are
Daniel.
And Anders.
all right. Daniel and Anders, can you tell us a little about your background and how you guys met?
Yeah, well, my background is in engineering and computer science a long time ago. And the background of Sensefarm is sort of, we started doing agriculture mobile applications in 2010 in a consultancy firm then. And in 2013, we started Sensefarm and started doing actual stuff out there with sensors and these kind of things. And yeah, Daniel?
Well, I joined Sensefarm for my master thesis during the spring this year. So that's how I ended up. I did some work on LoRa for my master thesis at Sensefarm. And when I ended that, I just got an offer for continue working but getting paid.
Yeah, so Daniel, his master thesis was about routing and LoRa networks, and we have seen that this smart city technology called LoRa, with the radio stuff, was working very well in agriculture as well, to do very interesting stuff there. But then you have forests, mountains, small, that you need to pass around, and that's what the master thesis was trying to solve. But we see that this technology can do a lot of interesting stuff in buildings like this, for instance, as well. So that's what we're trying to do now.
So that's the whole background about how Sensefarm started.
I think you need to go a bit deeper then.
Yeah, okay, a bit deeper. In 2011, we were asked if these mobile applications couldn't be used to measure temperatures in something called sugar beet clamps, large piles of sugar beets down in Skåne, before they are stored like that before they enter the sugar factory, and they are not allowed to freeze, so they are covered in covered. And if the temperature rises, and this is a natural process, so it rises by itself, then you need to take off the cover and put it on and take it off and so on. So they wanted to have some kind of remote measurement device that we then built for them. And this was a Nordic sugar company at that time. And then when we had built this and proved that it worked, we were offered to take over the project and the technology there to sell it to farmers, basically. And that's the start of the Sensefarm measurement technology that we have.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, super cool. Okay, so you were one of the 9 cool startups that were winners in Ericsson Garage Challenge 2017 this summer. Tell us how did you find out that they were doing this challenge and the journey?
Well, I think we got an email telling us that there's this competition and you probably fit in it. And then we had started working with the United Nations sustainability goals, much due to Daniel here. And that turned out to be a perfect fit for this competition. So we had the real interesting technology, and we also had the sustainability on the other side there, and combined them together. And that's why we went up here a couple of weeks ago to this competition.
I think it was like a kind of a chance that we already started talking about the UN sustainable goals, and then the Ericsson Garage Challenge happened to have them as goals, where we already started talking a little about how we could apply them to our products and our areas, and as a company, how we could work with them. And then Ericsson appeared, and it was a very good fit to test it, and well, it seemed to have worked out. So
that's so great. I'm so proud to have you here with us in Urban ICT Arena, and I also know that you don't know so much about us. But if you could wish for something or some things in Urban ICT Arena, what would that be?
Oh, it's interesting. We would like to test out not the technology stuff, but more like the economic side of things here. Can we make it sustainable on an economic level, or do we need to put into money and just lose money on it? So doing the business calculations on these kind of things. Can we do garbage collection dynamically, for instance, and make money on it, save money on it, save the environment as well? These kind of things would be really interesting to test here.
That's a great wish because, as you guys already know, we have you can get law help here when you're about to apply or sign an agreement with a large company as a startup. You can get legislative help, so you protect IP rights and stuff like that. So this is another case. So if we have a company out there that could contribute with this kind of services for startup, that would be great. So please, this is kind of an application for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we would, regarding this law stuff, that's also something that we really need, because we need partners in this, both small like ourselves and the big ones, to really reach a global impact on these things. And then we need these agreements. So it's I think it will work out very nice.
That's great. What's the best thing about working in a startup?
Oh,
Well, okay. Well, I guess I get started because this is my first job after graduating or during my master thesis. So for me, it was the ability to actually make an impact on a company. So I don't want to go into a big company where I'll probably end up writing a submodule for something, for some system somewhere, but instead going into a company where I could actually make a contribution and help shape it. And since I have an interest in sustainability, this was actually a quite good fit for me, where I could develop and see how we could do this with inside a company. So it's the challenge as well, and the possibilities from being there from the start for me.
Yeah, and I started working at Ericsson at my first job, and then slowly moved into smaller and smaller companies and startups. And during the dot-com boom, I actually joined one of these startups. And what you see is, at a large company, you work mainly with technology, but there's so much more to things. And at a small startup, I remember the salespeople coming back, telling us, the engineers, what they had heard from the customers and how can we solve these kind of things. And you really get to see all of these things, yes. And that's I like that.
But it's really cool that you two have different backgrounds and different ages. Do you have some advice for people at home watching who want to start a company? What kind of advice would you give them?
I would say start slowly. When I was an engineer at Ericsson, I went to evening courses in how to run a company, and eventually, after a couple of years, there was an opportunity to do it. The dot-com boom sort of broke, and everything could be started quite easily then. And there's a lot of things happening on evenings, meetups, go out, meet people, try to find these people that are interested in the same things, wishing to change the world, have these great ideas. Sometimes they're not that great, but eventually you run into them with something great. So there's a lot of this kind of stuff happening if you look around. So my advice would be to sort of go to these places and meet people, learn, adapt, join a startup company, work there for a few years, then learn the trade, and do this kind of things.
I don't know what my advice would be. I think it's taking the chance or the risk, depending how you see it, of joining a startup. I think a lot of people see it as a risk to join, but take the chance and do it and see. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but it might work out, and then it works out, and then it will be, I think, incredibly more fun to do it and exciting. So I think that's my advice. Try it, find someone who also is interested in the same thing as you, and try it. See what happens.
Cool. So back to Sensefarm.
Yeah.
We have a wide range of audience here in front of the cameras. Is it something you want to pay attention to when you have this opportunity? Something you want to enlighten them with, or a new project going on? What's happening in the next phase for you during these months?
Well, there's a lot of things happening.
Yeah. Things are quite crazy right now. We have, during these 2 days in Stockholm, we have 3 meetings for this day alone and tomorrow as well. Back in Lund, where we're from originally, we have, I think, 2 meetings every day on the technology that we're using for this kind of thing. So a lot of things are happening right now based on the technology we're working on. So it's garbage collection, saving energy in industries, building automation. It's how to manage several networks, all different partners that we can join and do great things together with. And just being here as well is just another of these things that is really happening now. And it's really amazing right now.
And on the agriculture side, it's how can we save water? How can we increase the yield of the crops? How can farms be digitalized? Which we're talking about this afternoon. But there's a lot of stuff happening in a lot of areas. I think that's exciting. See where we will end up.
It's super interesting, and we are really super proud that you are one of the startups in Urban ICT Arena. So thanks for coming.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
Have a great 2 days in Stockholm.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
will.
Thank you.
Thanks.